about to land in Muscat, the capital of Oman, in what is our first big trip of 2020 after a month of chilling in Delhi, recharging our batteries and renewing our enthusiasm to travel. It's a brand new season of WION Traveler, folks, and this season is going to be very different. We're going to travel a lot more, we're going to go overseas a lot more. We're heading to Jordan, a country that I wanted to visit since I was a child.
A writer, a photographer, on the road exploring a fascinating world in a state of perpetual motion, constantly departing while always arriving, seeking a window into an ever-changing universe. This is WION Traveler.
In March 2020, we landed in Jordan's capital city, Amman, brimming with enthusiasm. Our first overseas trip of the year to start a new season of WION Traveler with a bang. Our first week there, things went swimmingly well. The journey pushed us straight into the Dead Sea's buoyant embrace, where we slathered on some mud and floated about. In Amman, we caught a proper local band in action and met city residents who charmed, well, at least one of us. At the ancient Greco-Roman city of Gerasa, we time-travelled to the distant past.
Once upon a time, a mighty city, huh?
We found the sunny vibe in Aqaba, a gorgeous vacation town on the banks of the Red Sea.
We are in Aqaba and we are going swimming.
And discovered that Petra, a wonder of the world, totally lived up to the hype.
I think the word is gobsmacked.
I knew you were going to say gobsmacked. I knew you were going to say that word. Yeah.
Gobsmacked.
Yeah.
It was at Petra that the wheels began to come off. Not just for our trip, but the world at large. With countries going into lockdowns to contain the pandemic, we were advised to flee back to India. Our itinerary in shreds, and with less than 2 days to go before our return flight, we decided to make a last-minute dash to the one place I'd always wanted to go to in Jordan. A mystical desert. Its cinemascopic expanse, made larger than life in the David Lean film Lawrence of Arabia, had grown even more epic in a child's imagination. We were going to Wadi Rum.
Marooned. Not on a desert island, which sounds better, but in the desert. Not on Earth, but Mars. In the 2015 Matt Damon starrer, The Martian, the protagonist sat on this very rock, contemplating his future after being accidentally left behind by his spaceship. That little introspection Matt Damon's character did on the rock was a turning point in the film. This is it. This is how I end. Now you can either accept that or get to work. That's all it is. You do the math. You solve one problem and then the next one, and so forth. If you solve enough problems, you get to come home. It's a scenario almost too fantastic to contemplate.
A little Martian moment, yeah. I was considering if you would have saved me if I was stranded out here.
I don't know about that. I mean, I'd like to say I would. But I don't know, man. If you're stranded in a place like this, you're probably just trying to save your own skin. Remember I was telling you about Lawrence of Arabia?
Yeah, right.
And they're going across the desert, and I remember the scene where one of the Arabs, he's fatigued and he falls off the horse. Right. Lawrence comes back alone for him. And just the fact that he did that changed everything. This guy called...
Then they got the respect of the...
Of Sharif Ali, who was played by Omar Sharif. It's another story altogether that later Lawrence shot this guy for entirely different reasons.
That's a very non-specific way to say that you wouldn't say me.
No, I'd say my own skin, I think. What a view, huh?
Oh, wild.
The North Arab Desert stretches into Syria, Iraq and Saudi Arabia, but is at its most spectacular in Wadi Rum. That translates literally into Valley of the Moon. No explanation needed why. Wadi Rum lies in the far south of Jordan and east of the Rift Valley. It's a protected region stretching across an area almost as large as New York City. Now, sand dunes are all very well, but what differentiates Wadi Rum are the spectacular sandstone arches, towering cliffs and natural gorges, all coming together to create a dramatic landscape that's been popular with film producers ever since the epic Hollywood film Lawrence of Arabia was shot here. As epic a film can get. It also makes its protagonist, a young English military intelligence officer named T.E. Lawrence, larger than life. It was here in Wadi Rum that Lawrence convinced a ragtag army of Bedouins to traverse across the desert and attack the Ottoman stronghold of Aqaba. Wadi Rum had never been crossed before, not even by the Bedouins. The rest, as they say, is history.
Well, from what I understand, Lawrence only came here in 1916, so it made a big enough impression in 1 year for them to actually carve his face. Oh, look at that. Immortalized in stone, immortalized on film. What an outstanding place, huh, this is?
Monumental place. Like a rock climber's paradise.
Oh, this must be King Faisal I, the Hashemite king that Lawrence had allied with. Yeah. But what a spot, look at it. It's like the mountain's been cleaved through.
I wonder if there's any water all the way in there.
It looks like it. It looks like a waterfall of some kind. Yeah. I mean, a dried waterfall.
Jordan's strategic location at the crossroads of Asia, Africa and Europe is what anthropologists refer to as a cradle of civilization. From prehistoric communities to the ancient Nabateans nearly 2,000 years ago, the Greek and Roman Empire in the Classic period, to the Ottomans till the early 20th century, and finally the Hashemites, who continue to rule today. This land has been inhabited for nearly 12,000 years. The rock faces in Wadi Rum bear petroglyphs and inscriptions, shapes of animals and humans etched in the rock, that bear proof of human inhabitation through the ages. These are the primary reason that Wadi Rum finds itself on UNESCO's World Heritage List.
The Hijaz Railway, which Lawrence and his Arab soldiers spent the First World War trying to blow up, still rumbles by Wadi Rum, bearing potash, not camera-toting tourists. After a day out in the desert, we're pretty knackered. The desert sun is harsh even when the breeze is cold. We're traveling in an SUV and the thought of traveling days in this desert seems unimaginable. On our way back to the campsite, we cross a camel caravan and I spare a thought, yet again, for Lawrence and those brave Arabs who rode across this unforgiving expanse a century back. As astonishing as Wadi Rum is, that feat of human endeavour is what this desert will always be remembered for. In his memoirs penned in Wadi Rum, Lawrence wrote, "The landscape refused to be an accessory, but took the skies, and we chattering humans became dust at its feet."
A slew of Martian-style campsites now dot this landscape. We're staying at one, and it does look, well, like a colony on another planet. Repasts, though, are traditional Bedouin affairs. For dinner, the chef prepares a sarb, a subterranean barbecue that's been simmering for over 3 hours. Back in the day, the nomadic Bedouins needed to cook with minimum equipment, and burying meats in an oven with hot coals was the norm.
Thank you.
The best.
The best. What is it? What is this called?
What?
What is the name of this?
Zarb.
Zarb.
Yes.
And what kind of meat is it?
Chicken and lamb.
Chicken and lamb.
The sarb is as delicious as it is dramatic.
As night falls in Wadi Rum, the darkness gives way to millions of stars twinkling in the sky. Johan and I have signed up for an astronomy class to end the day. To be out in the desert at this late hour needs us to layer up.
Everybody has to take a coat.
Do we have to? I don't know.
Actually, I agree. I'm pretty warm too.
Yeah.
I've picked out an ornate one for you. You need to wear a coat, man. That's the way it rolls around here. You got to wear the coat. Wear the coat.
It's your coat of arms.
Go for it. There you go. And I thereby anoint you coat wearer.
Welcome to Rum Sky.
Thank you.
Welcome. In addition to the gazillion layers, you know what I feel like? I feel like a pasha.
Gino's like, I'm not wearing it properly. Let me at least wear it properly.
Go for it, Gino.
It's
But I have a straight spine when you wear stuff like this.
like it's made for you.
Yeah, that's right. Gino, actually, you know what? This is like a movie. At the end of it, we'll find out that the real king was Gino. Looking good, bro.
Yeah. Shimmer in his eyes.
Johan, I believe you might have to pay here. I think that's what's going on.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Let me get the camera. Why don't you go do the honors?
100 dinars as in like 90 ده الباقي is $90 then
$100 is what?
yeah I know.
How many bells? And you can see here Orion's belt, the 3 stars. Below from the 3 stars, here we have the weapon of this hunter.
Wadi Rum is a fantastic milieu for stargazing, even though I was expecting it. But nothing prepared me for such an exceptionally starry night.
The expansive night sky mirrors the sweeping firmament of Wadi Rum that has been preserved largely unchanged through the millennia. To Jordan's credit, there are no massive concrete resorts, no touristy shops selling trinkets here. Wadi Rum is still much larger, much more monumental than the men who inhabit it. Jordan's religious and cultural pluralism is reflective of its long historical significance with different faiths. People from around the world have been coming to Jordan on pilgrimages for centuries. The life and times of one figure in particular hold significance across different faiths. Moses is believed to have died and been buried at Mount Nebo. For Christians, Jordan's significance doesn't end with Moses. According to the Bible, Jesus of Nazareth was baptized by John the Baptist in the Jordan River. The baptism site is considered one of the most important sites in Christianity. Given that, it's no small surprise that Madaba, a small town an hour's drive from Amman, is in fact considered Jordan's most important Christian site.
Madaba's relevance derives from a map made from mosaic tiles that was discovered when a church was being restored in the late 19th century.
Incredible, huh? How do you think they did it? Do you think they drew it and then put it in?
They must have. They can't have been freebasing it.
Oh, don't touch it.
But these are the new ones, no? The commissioned ones.
I don't know. But it's
It's like a low pixelated photo, isn't it? You know?
with each mosaic representing a pixel. Huh?
0.01 megapixel.
That's true, huh? That's true. It's
And
like
they would have been like, wow, 0.01 megapixel. 4 million pieces.
You're right, huh? You know, actually. Sometimes they say interesting things on. This thing used to be 90 square meters, and now this is only like 20 square meters. So it was 4 times as large as this.
The map lists out 157 major biblical sites, including areas north of the Jordan River and the Dead Sea. The ancient cities of Jericho, Jerusalem, and Bethlehem can be clearly seen.
I just think that back in the day, they didn't have any issues about spending time on things. Everything was done so painstakingly. Huh? Just, can you imagine how long this might have taken to do? So much work. It might have taken ages to make it, but it's still around, you know, 1,000 years down the line. And people are still coming to watch it and look at it and appreciate it.
with the golden dome of the King Hussein Mosque, the spires of the Church of John the Baptist, and the Greek Orthodox Basilica dominating its skyline, Madaba is emblematic of the country's syncretic Arab identity.
Not far from Madaba lies Mount Nebo, from where the land slopes down 700 meters to the Jordan Valley with the Dead Sea lying to the west. Everyone says it's a spectacular vista, which is why we're more than a bit disappointed with the inclement weather. We decide to go catch some lunch and try our luck on the way back.
As close as possible. Jasmine House.
Given that Mount Nebo is such a major hub for tourists, it's no surprise that a restaurant of this caliber exists in its vicinity, which is pretty much in the middle of nowhere.
A special table has been laid out for us, and by the looks of it, the spread beats anything the other diners are getting. Bon appetit!
Oh, lovely. What a feast! Huh? Okay.
That's your time. 1, 2, 3.
The chef is a proper showman and performs this elaborate routine of upturning a pot of what seems like a rice and meat concoction. Much to the delight and applause of a busload of diners who have just entered the restaurant.
What is this called? Chef, what is this called?
Makluba.
Makluba.
Upside down.
Makluba means upside down.
Yeah. Upside down. Yes. It's traditional food. Chicken, white brown flour, some potato, eggplant, yes, some tomato, capsicum.
Like a meat tahini.
Yeah.
Chef, how long does it take you to make this?
45 minutes.
45 minutes?
Yeah,
is that all?
Yeah, yeah.
That was pretty quick.
Yes. Yes, we have mansaf also. Yeah.
What's mansaf?
Mansaf, this is very traditional food. This is lamb with some yogurt. Also the season, the yogurt now. About the, the spring is coming.
Right.
Yeah, the season he's cooking some lamb with some yogurt, cheap.
Lamb with yogurt. Goat meat or cheap meat?
Yes, and serve it with rice. Before he don't serve it with rice. Before he serve it with white fine.
Oh. So dear viewers, Johan in his quest to become more Indian had become vegetarian. But I think this trip to Jordan has basically scuppered it completely.
Reset it completely.
All right, dig in. Bon appetit. You should ask the chef what this is. I don't know what this is. Chef, you have a second. Can you tell us what is what?
I want to ask you about the food, sir. You like it?
Yes, please. It's excellent.
Yeah, we have in the table now mixed maza, Mediterranean maza. This is especially for mutabbal. This summer, some aubergine with yogurt, with tahina.
Okay. Oh, I see. Aubergine, yogurt and tahina.
Yeah, yes. Also hummus, chickpeas.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, I know hummus.
Okay, and he stuffed some ground lamb.
Ground lamb.
Yeah.
Let's
yeah,
go for
inside.
it.
Yeah.
I told you.
Yeah. Yes. With nuts. With nuts.
Thank you, chef.
Thank you, sir. Nice
Thank you very
to meet
much.
you, sir. Enjoy for food. Welcome. Nice you. Bye bye.
I think this is a hard place to be in the community.
Food coma. I should not have had such a heavy breakfast.
Let there be light. Well, the gods have certainly smiled upon us by the time we make our way back to Mount Nebo. The heavens clear and we're witness to what qualifies surely as a mythological if not historical scene. According to varied religious texts, Moses and his followers reached Mount Nebo, and this is where they had their first glimpse of what is called the Promised Land. The Jordan Valley stretches out in front of us with a hint of Dead Sea revealing itself to the west. Israel and the West Bank lie in the distance. It's a fitting finale to our trip in Jordan, symbolic in a way of the endless possibilities that lie ahead of us. And also in a way that the travails are part of the quest, and the bigger picture when it is revealed to us will be a good one. Looking back at that day, and I've had plenty of time to do that during the lockdown, our trip to Jordan seems somewhat dreamlike. Standing at Mount Nebo, the world seemed full of endless possibility. Today, traipsing about as we were on the other side of the Suez Canal without a care in the world seems like such a fantasy. In our time in Jordan, the one phrase we heard a lot was Inshallah, Arabic for God willing. Like a fail-safe against force majeure, it's the one phrase that exists in every faith, all religions and cultures. It reminds me of that starry night in Wadi Rum, looking up in awe at the ever-expanding universe and contemplating our place in it, confronting the fragility of our existence and the inescapable fact that the universe is full of things that are beyond human comprehension. To be comfortable with that fact needs a certain humility. Not to disparage the power of human endeavour, but to accept that our lives are often beyond our control. We do what we must and we hope for the best. We will recover and we will reclaim our lives. God willing.